Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. So here I'm with Catia tutorials. In that I'm going to cover basics of Catia assembly and drafting. So we'll take the engine assembly into account and we'll deal with the top-down assembly approach. In that only we're gonna deal with the bottom-up assembly approach as well. Okay. So I have covered the same session on other softwares like SolidWorks and 3D Experience and even the Fusion 360. Can follow the same thing. Let's get started with this. This is the workbench as we all know. So if you want to switch to any workbenches, you can use the start icon and you can choose the appropriate workbench. Let's say I want to deal with the mechanical design and the assembly workbench. You can simply click on this assembly design. So it will take you to the assembly workbench directly. Yeah. So these are the tools related to the assembly workbench. You can simply drag and drop into the graphics area and you can use them. To align them, you can hold the shift and just drag it up like this. So these are the tools which I'm going to use frequently. So this is the part I'm going to add it to this particular assembly workbench. Simply click on it and just select the product one. So it will be added to that particular product one. So this is the part, the first part which I'm going to use. Okay, remember that. So I'm going to create some reference on this part too. So you can simply double click on that to activate the part design workbench. Now from here you can choose the appropriate plane. So let's say I need to deal with this a YZ plane and simply select the sketch. Now let's say I'll add the uh, rough sketch and this triangle, and I'll define the dimensions and the geometrical constraints to fully define it, and I'll refer this particular sketch as a reference for the assembly which I'm going to create. So creating the component inside the assembly workbench and assembling them will help you to deal with the top-down assembly approach, or if you're going to add the components inside it, it will be bottom-up assembly approach. Okay, now this is the product one. If you double click on it, it will take you to the assembly workbench again. Now I want to insert the existing components. So bottom up assembly approach now. So let's say this is the crankshaft. Just click OK. So it shows the task has been completed. Now you can use these move tools, that is the manipulation tool, to just move your component. Let's say I want to just move it. You can even use the along X direction. So if you want to switch towards Y, you can just use this, and you can see the reference triad at the corner to refer the coordinates XYZ. Okay, if you want to rotate them, you can even use the rotate along XYZ. Okay, now to mate it, you can use these constraints. So we have the coincident constraint. So the first time I'm using it, if you don't want to use this particular assistant, you can click on do not prompt in future and close it. Now just hover on the circular axis and select the point and apply it. So this is the activate tool. Now I'll use the quick constraint tool. Just define these two. You can even use the constraint tool for the same thing. Now you can try moving it. So let's say I want to just rotate it along X direction. So you could say it is moving, but the thing is both the components are free to move in the space. So what I'll do is I'll fix the part to which I had created for the reference. So you can simply select this from the tree and click on fix. Now you can use the move tool and try to rotate this. Now it is fine, isn't it? You can see the with respect to the constraint it is. So with respect to constraint it is going to move, or if you use the move tool without that, it will freely move. Okay, now I'll add one more component. This is the gear one. Okay, and now I need to assemble this. You can close this tab. If you want to hide this notification, you can just set it up into the settings. So I'll use the same tool, that is coincident constraint. You can just hover on the model to just select the axis and just click on update. Okay, now again I'll use the coincident tool. So these two faces, it will ask you for the direction, so I'll take it as same. So by default it will align it. Okay, so this will help you to assign concentric and coincident mate with respect to the requirement. Okay, now you can try to move it. It is moving, isn't it? Well, so now I will add one more component, existing. Just click on the product to just get into the Explorer Gear 2. So for this also I'll use the same, the coincident constraint, this axis and this point. Okay, so it will be same. So next thing I want the camshaft. I'll do the same thing. Click OK. This better first activate the coincident between these two. Click OK. And now again use the same tool to assign the concentric. Hover on the model to get the axis. Just click on update. So both the mates at once. Now again, let's say I want to add the next component is the camshaft. Yeah, connecting rod, I'll add it here. To mate them, so first thing is I'll use the move tool and orient it properly. Okay, and now I can use the coincident mate again. So hover on the model to get the axis here as well. So update this. Now I need to place it exactly at the center of this one, right? So what I can do is the face-to-face coincident, I can do it. So you can activate the coincident constraint, this face, rotate your model and just zoom in and this face. Okay, and by default opposite, don't change it. Click OK and update. Now you can add the connecting rod cover. So this I'll hide it at the moment, it is not needed now. I'll use the same insert component, click on the product and just select the connecting rod cover. Now for this same coincident, just hover on the components. So next I'll assign one more mate now itself instead of just placing it now. So this face, and just rotate your model and just select this face as a reference. By default the orientation is opposite. Fine, update it. Yeah, so now I need to place it exactly at the location where it should be. So I'll use the coincident constraint. Actually I need the reference of this face, and now this face should mate to this crankshaft face. Opposite by default, update. Okay, this is fine. Yeah, so if you want to just use this particular compass also, you can use it to move the component or the assembly. So I won't use it frequently. Now again, let's see, I'll add the next component, that is the piston head. So I need to orient it. I'll use the manipulation tool and just drag it towards X, and I need to rotate it a bit. Okay, so now I'll use the coincident mate between these two axes, and then face to face mate I should apply. So oh, I'll take the inside face as a reference. for the piston head, and for the connecting rod outside two faces. That would work. So again, coincident constraint. So zoom in and just select this face. For this, I'd like to use this side face of the connecting rod. Now simply opposite constraint, it's okay by default, that is fine. Update it. So this is fine. Now just check the mechanism with respect to the constraints which you have added, and use the manipulation tool to check the mechanism. Let me just rotate it. Yeah, this is fine. Well, to place the next components, I need the references. So for that, what I can do is I can use the top-down assembly approach here. So I'll create some references, or you can create the components as well in the top-down assembly approach. So I need to align the racker arms, and also let me just hide the sketch, and yeah, so I'll simply double click on this to activate the part design workbench. So here only I need a plane as a reference first, so you can just use the plane definition. So I'd like to use the parallel to point through point. So this point, the reference is the x-axis, the plane I need. I'll create some reference on the XZ plane. Simply click on it and sketch, and exactly at the center I need the reference sketch. So instead of creating here, let me just add it here. So if you want to use the line tool, you can just simply double click on it to use it multiple times, or else you can use the profile tool. It depends. Yeah, so now dimension constraints, just double click, define this as 300, and this length I'll take it as 15, and this also 15. This length 15 and 50. I'm just taking it approximately. Now this should be exactly at the center of this connecting rod. Hold the control, select these and this. You can just try to use the shortcut. If it is not there, you can use this geometrical constraint and symmetry green check, or else you can use the dimension constraint and right click, you will get all the shortcuts. Okay, yep, so that is done. So one more reference sketch I need on this particular plane, that is plane 1. So I'll sketch on this plane now. So from here I need to start, instead of here, yeah, somewhere here I'll draw it first. Yep, so same thing, dimension I need to find. This is 50, 50, these are 15. Actually the total length this time I don't want it 300, I'll take it 200 now. Let you know why it is. Now I'll hold the control, select these two. Now I can use the second method, dimension constraint, right click and coincident, shortcut it is. Okay, Exit the workbench, we have the two sketches for the reference. Now I need one more. So for that I need one more plane to be created. So this plane as a reference. So let me just create it. What I can do is I can add the plane. You can just select the plane definition, and same thing, a parallel through points. So the plane's reference is this one, YZ plane. So the reference point is this. So you could see the plane has been created there. Right click on it or simply select and click on sketch. So from here only you can draw it. So profile tool or line tool, your wish, and try to draw the rough sketch. So the sketches like this. So from this point straight and like this, the dimension, this is 300 and this is of 40. But still it is undefined. This is movable. So again, just select these two, right click and coincidence. Fine, fully defined. That is ISO constraint in Catia. It is done. My reference sketch is ready. Simply double click on the product and just add the new component. So this one, the rod. I'd like to use the coincident mate, axis reference, and this line. Update. I need a copy of this. One more copy I need. What you can do is you can simply right click on it and copy, and just go to the product. On the product, right click and paste. So you have the two components at that location. Could see rod A2. So use the manipulation tool to move it. So drag it out. Now coincident constraint, axis reference, and this sketch line reference. Update. That's fine. So next, I'd like to add this subassembly here. Again, click on the insert component and product one. So just wall subassembly. Select it. And this is the component. Same coincident between these two. Orientation is fine. I would like to move it upwards along Y direction. Sorry, Z direction. Drag it out. I need a copy of it. Right click on it and just select the copy. Go to the product, right click and paste. Now use the manipulation tool and drag it out. To made it, coincident constraint, access to line, update. Okay, so we can just adjust the placement of the component. This is fine. So next, I'd like to add the shaft, which should be placed exactly at the center of the point. So these two, I'll take it as coincident mate. So it is concentric at the moment. Now I need the distance mate. So what I'll do is first I'll assign the coincident mate for this face and the same line or a point. Both are fine. Okay, now update this. I would like to change it to distance mate now. What you can do is select this and use this change constraint and use the offset. Okay, so we have the angle parallel and all, so you can just double click on it and change the value to -5. So the total thickness is 10, so it should be exactly at the center. -5 would be the value. So you could see this is fine. Now I'd like to add the rack arm here. You can go to again insert new components, insert existing components, sorry. Yeah, these sketches are done now, so these I don't need. Can just hide them at the moment. Well, I need this rock arm. The placement should be proper, so I would like to move it or else directly assign the mate. So just zooming over exactly at the location. Yep, still I need to zoom in. This one and the axis of this. Update. Now again the same coincident constraints will help you to use the coincident mate. Just rotate the model, just select the appropriate face. Okay, opposite, fine, update. Now I need a copy of it. One more that side. Oh, just right click on it and copy. Over on the product one, right click paste. Two other, use manipulation tool, move along. Sorry, not the rotation, x-axis. Done. Now to mate it, same, can go to the coincident constraining axis to axis of this, and then this face, coincident constraint, and this. Click OK and update. That's done. So almost all the components has been added here. You can use the isometric view. I'd like to rearrange them, means reposition everything. So this should be rotated along x-axis to align it properly. But still some of the constraints I need to define. Okay. The same manner, this I need to fix it because it is moving, because that is like rigid, so I'd like to have it as a rigid. Fine, so try to align each and every component, so you can hide the constraints as well, the sketch as well, and even the default planes, the reference planes which you have created. So it's better simply hide entire part only, because that is just for reference, you know. Yep, so I'll use the front view. The alignment is not exactly perfect, no, so it's okay. So I'll try to just align each and every components. So can just move along C towards up. Same thing for these. I need to rotate them. Yeah, still it is moving, you know. I need to assign the mate for this as well. With respect to constraint, it is taking in the sense we have referred the point for the reference. So it even has the rotation along y-axis. So I need to restrain that. Can cancel this to not to disturb the orientation. So what you can do here is I'll just show this component first. Now this reference default plane with this particular plane. Can even just select the face. They're also fine, but to have it appropriate, it should not disturb me in future. So I'd like to have the plane to plane mate. Yeah, this plane. A bit confusing. You can hide the planes which are not needed here. These two. I'll go with the coincident. First add the coincident and then change the mate to parallelism. Now this will work fine. Now try to rotate the component and check. These are fine. When it comes to this is also fine. Yeah, it is still moving as we have defined the point-to-point coincident. No, it has the rotation along y-axis. For this also, I'll do the same thing. This face I'll refer this time, so it is taking more time to just select the please. So click OK. Okay, same direction. Now try change the mate to parallelism. No, this is fine. No moments. This is also fine. Yep. Now let me hide these all things, and now I'll quickly just align with respect to this YZ plane. Just use this normal 2, and the assembly is done. So I just need to like align all the components now. So let me use the manipulation tools. Quickly do it. Yeah, I'll rotate this a bit so that the rod should fit on the cam properly. Yep, this is perfectly fine. To create the animations, it's better to just align them properly, and that will automatically take the other things like the context sets and all easily, right? Yep, so this is done. These two should be, again, we should have it parallel because they should move properly. So change this to parallelism. Try to uh, hide this as well. Now I'll move this one so that we can check whether it has the proper mechanism. Okay, it is not aligned to the axis, no. So what might be the best way? Yeah, I had created the sketches, right? So I'll just use them. Show this. Yep, this particular line I'll use it. This with respect to this axis coins. That's fine. Now it will move along this axis only. So hide this, and if you want to check, you can try the same thing. This is fine, right? Yeah, so you can just orient the gears as well properly. If you want to just make the animations inside the Catia, can do it by using the DMU kinematics, and you can just set the animations there. It is quite advanced task to create these all the animations and all in Catia. So that I'll cover in the later sessions. At the moment, this is done. So I'd like to go ahead with the assembly drafting. So you can use the start and mechanical design, and we have the drafting. Okay, so the format, if you want to change it, you can use this modify, and I would like to change it to A2 landscape. Click OK. Okay, so this will open your drafting workbench. And now here, if you want to add the isometric view, just select the isometric view from here and just use the Windows drop down and assembly engine assembly and orient to isometric view. Just click on any of the part. Okay, and now this is here. You can just drag and drop it, orient it however you want. You can use the triad compass at the corner to just align it, or simply click in the graphics area. The sheet size, I'll go back to this workbench and I'll use this generate numbering. So just click on the product now at the top. Now you want which mode? I want the integer, not the alphabets. Next thing, bill of material, analyze and bill of material, you can select it. And now if you want to modify this format, you can use the define format, and from here you can just remove what and all you don't want. I don't want the type, I'll just move it out. Yeah, nomenclature I don't want, I can remove it, and the quantity, part number, and the revision I need it. So if you want to reorient them, you can use the options here. If you're okay, you could see this is the final step. Okay, these all things you want to get into the BOM, all the three. Okay, now you can switch to the drafting, and here if you want to add them, you can go to the insert, and from here you can use the generation, and we have the bill of material and the balloon generation. So if you just select this balloon generation, automatically you will get all the balloons. Could see. Now you can just orient it if you want properly. For that, I would like to change the font of each and every balloon. Just select everything and right click and use the properties, and here you can set your font. This is the text, the color if you want to change there. And now the size I would like to take 10 would be more, 7 is fine. Apply, You could see the preview at the back. Click OK. Now the orientation, you can simply drag them and place it. Actually, this seat size which I'm using, it is a bit small, so I'll use the properties and I'll just change it to A1. Right click on the sheet 1 and you can just use the properties to make the changes. Now just zoom out, drag and drop it and place it wherever you want. So I need to even add the sheet format, so I'd like to place it at the top still. Okay, now just align everything. So isometric view, I'd like to add it at the top instead of bottom. Would be better for me. Fine. So next thing, I'd like to generate the BOM. Go to generation BOM and bill of material. You do have the advanced. Just drag and drop them and place it properly. So if you want, you can delete these two. I'd like to have only one. So this is the assembly BOM, so I don't want it. So now when it comes to the orientation and changing the properties, just right click on it and just go to the fonts and change it to 7 again. So like this. Now if you want to align it, there are a few options. You can simply double click on the BOM and you will get this drop downs, so you can use them to align it. So if you want to align everything at once, you can use the top right corner and drag it to align everything at once. If you want to resize it with respect to the rows, you can just drag it down as well. Okay, so like this, you can just orient it properly. So size, I would like to reduce it again. I don't want the rows to be that much big. And the part number size, it should be more. The quantity size should be less. You can just drag it out like this. Okay, the part number, I want it to be more. Again double click and then select these all the orientation to center. You can do it by using the alignment methods. So this also the same thing. And here the product description, I don't want it to be product, so let me just align this first the part number. Now this is fine. Bill of material, so these to be again at the center, or else you can select everything and place the center, your wish. So product 1, you can change the editor. Instead of product 1, I would like to add the engine assembly. Okay, so this is how we can generate the BOM. Now when it comes to the sheet format, you can just use the edit and sheet background. We have the option to create a frame and title block. So we have the different methods here. So we have the styles. One is the sample 1, sample 2. You could see the samples preview here, and even this is the playbook and this is the Innovia one. I'd like to use the sample 2 and simply apply it. You could see the frame and the title block got created automatically. If you want to make changes inside this, you can even do it by just simply double clicking on the location where you want to modify. Just zoom in and do it. Double click and change it to engine assembly. Okay, so if you want to customize these all the things, you can simply double click and change everything, or if you want to do it manually, you can even do it, insert the other things and all, so that you can just check later. I'll go back to the working environment just using the edit drop down and doing it. So now I would like to have the front view. I'll go to the assembly. Let me just orient to front. This is not the proper orientation. Just hover on the different views. So if I hover it here, this is fine. So I'll place this exactly at the bottom of the BOM. Okay, so these keys more, right click on this, double click and right click and use the properties. I want to change the scale for only this, so change it to 1:5 would be fine. Yeah, no issues, this is perfectly fine. So I'd like to use the projected views for this. So what I'll do is I'll go to the projected views, just select this drawing, drag and drop it top view, again the same, just select it and place it like this. Okay, so this is how you can create the assembly drafting. Now when it comes to the part, you can open the parts and do the same thing. So let's say this is the component part level drafting. I'll go with the again same drafting, so this component will be taken there by default. The sheet size, I'll go with the A3 as it is a part, so small is fine. And now the views, I'd like to have the isometric view first, or else the front view is fine. So go to the piston, just hover on the model to get the orientation. This is the bottom view. So I'll rotate the model and try to use this face. So this is perfectly fine. Just select this and place it. Okay. And now just double click projected views, this, and even the top view is fine. Escape. I'd like to have the isometric view. It is not giving the alignment, let it be. So I'll go with the isometric view and go to Windows and use the piston head as them. And here just orient your model properly, or else you can use the isometric view from the pane. I'll just select the component, same preview I wanted. So the product, if you click on it, you'll get the custom view, okay, instead of the isometric view. Yep, so let's say I want these section views and all. So what you can do is can go to the same tab, can just select the section view from here. Okay, offset section view. So there are different options, so can see them later, but right now we'll see the basic one. So just draw it like this and double click. Okay, drag it out. And now let's say I want the detail view should be placed here. Just double click on this view to activate this and just use a detail view and draw a circle like this and place it wherever you want. Okay, yep, this is fine. Now to add the dimensions, you can use the dimension tools, which is at this corner. Before that, I'll just add the sheet background. I'll use the title block or created sample tool will be fine, as I'm using the same in the assembly template as well. So here I'll double click and modify this to piston head. Okay. Yep, so I'll go to the edit and go to the working mode, working views. I have to remember that to switch it. Now the dimensions. So manual dimension is there. You can just use the tool palettes to just orient your dimensions. Now here as well, I'll use the same from the top to bottom. So if you have created the component inside the Catia only, we have the auto generation tools for the dimensions. You can use it. So you define the dimensions manually, you can change it to the diameter. Just select the like this. Okay. Now this is used to generate dimensions. So if you have the Catia components, it will help you to do it automatically. So now I'll hide these all the frames which is active on the views. So you can just use this option to remove all the frames. Okay. So like this, you can create the part drafting and even the assembly draftings. Yep. So I hope you got this. Yeah, so that's all about this session, guys. So we have gone through the Catia assembling workbench as well as the drafting workbench, and we have seen the basics of each and everything. Okay, thank you all. Stay tuned. Bye, everyone.